Greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, Robert Meyer Burnett. I invite you to watch and listen to the Designing Hollywood podcast, brought to you by Martika Ibarra and the great, legendary Hollywood costume designer, Marilyn Vance. I am afforded the wonderful opportunity of co-hosting the show. If you are interested in the magic of Hollywood, the design of Hollywood, the clothes of Hollywood, watch the Designing Hollywood podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts from, or find the video version on YouTube. That's right, the Designing Hollywood podcast. Why would you ever want to miss it, especially if you love the movies?
Tango Shalom is now available on all VOD
major platforms. I think we messed that up.
Video on demand, or as they say in the trade, VOD.
VOD. Tango Shalom is now available on all VOD platforms,
which means
video on demand.
Look how you know. You must be a high school graduate.
I'm a college graduate.
Really?
Yes.
I got an honorary degree from Hofstra. Did you get an honorary degree?
No, I got a degree.
Oh, well, I got honorary. You know, I'm in the Jewish Museum.
What for?
What do you mean? As a famous Jew in the Bronx. I'm in the famous...
I'm in the Prospect Park in the Stones.
How big is the stone?
Observations with Robert Meyer Burnett.
Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, your master of fun and wonder, your viceroy of verisimilitude, yada, 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 all the names that you members of this, the Post-Geek Singularity community, hang on me. And this is the Hollywood Half and Half. Whether you are in the half shell, on the half pipe, or still half in the bag, this is your 30-minute blast of entertainment news for Friday, November 19th. Let's just start it off big and loud with Adele. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gentle beings, however you identify across the 28 known galaxies, Adele has released her new album, 30. And it's her first record in 6 years. Of course, she is the Academy Award winning singer of Skyfall. And this is, of course, a much anticipated album. And she has described it as her ride or die throughout the most turbulent period of my life. For 30, which was delayed because of the pandemic, the Grammy-winning singer reunites with 25 co-writers and producers, Greg Kurstin, Max Martin, Tobias Jesso Jr., and Shellback, with Oscar-winning Black Panther composer Ludwig Göransson among the album collaborators. How cool is that? The new release follows the singer's divorce from Simon Konecki, with whom she shares her 9-year-old son, Angelo, and centers on the aftermath and moving on throughout the 12 songs. When announcing the album on her social media, the singer shared that the album was my friend who came over with a bottle of wine and a takeaway to cheer me up. My wise friend who always gives the best advice, the friend who would stay up all night and just hold my hand while I'd sob relentlessly, not knowing why. She said, I've painstakingly rebuilt my house and my heart since then, and this album narrates it. Home is where the heart is. Well, of course it is, and our hearts are with you, Adele, because after all, we're still rolling in the deep, by God. And I gotta say, I like Adele. I'm not gonna lie. I like her. I think she's good. So, what can I say? What can I tell you? Other than I'm excited. I might have pre-ordered it too. Maybe. Our next story comes to us from Variety today. Really interesting. Christopher Nolan. According to Rebecca Rubin in Variety, Christopher Nolan's $100 million World War II drama Oppenheimer could be the last of its kind. These days, it's rare for traditional studios to pump 9 figures into a film that isn't inspired by popular toys, novels, or comic books. Even before COVID-19 upended the movie-going landscape, audiences had been gravitating towards superheroes and science fiction spectacles, and not much else. That reality has made it increasingly difficult for Hollywood to justify the economics of greenlighting expensive movies that aren't based on existing intellectual property. They're a bigger risk, not only in recouping investments for studios, but also in generating profits, spawning sequels, and leveraging consumer product riches. No matter how well people receive Nolan's films, it's unlikely J. Robert Oppenheimer's face will adorn t-shirts or lunchboxes. Oh, however, as we all know, Warner Brothers greenlit Dunkirk. Dunkirk was a decidedly British story of British courage in the face of adversity. Of course, the great movement of the British soldiers off the beach at Dunkirk that was helped by civilians. Can you imagine Christopher Nolan went in and pitched this to Warner Brothers? You know, I want to do this World War II story. And he turned it into an amazing art film, a great war film, a great story of great courage. And, you know, once again, keeping the British end up. And it was a hit. It was a hit for Warner Brothers. So just like James Cameron and all you Avatar sequel naysayers, don't bet against Christopher Nolan's J. Robert Oppenheimer project. The only question is, with his love of reality, will Christopher Nolan get the U.S. military or any other military around the world to actually detonate an atomic weapon so he can film it? I hope so, with IMAX cameras. So it could be great. Universal Pictures, not Warner Brothers, is making a bold bet that the right director can still get audiences excited to fill cinemas for original content. And this film, which isn't due in theaters until 2023, will need to defy the odds to become a commercial success. I don't know, man. I think this could be good. People will roll out for a Nolan joint. That's all I'm saying. On top of its $100 million production budget, the studio will need to spend $100 million more to properly promote the film to global audiences. Because Nolan's contract guarantees he receives first dollar gross, an increasingly uncommon perk that grants the filmmaker a percentage of ticket sales, it will take $50 million to $60 million more to achieve profitability than it would take another film of similar scope. Consequently, insiders at rival studios estimate Oppenheimer will need to generate at least $400 million at the global box office in order to turn a profit. Well, if anybody can do it, let me tell you, Christopher Nolan can do it. You know it, I know it, we all knew it. Go, Chris. Our next story is Scarlett Johansson receives American Cinematheque tribute, and Kevin Feige, that's right, he teases a top secret Marvel project with the actress, unrelated to Black Widow. Remember, Scarlett Johansson was, in fact, a producer on Black Widow, so maybe she's going to serve in a producerial capacity. But she received the 35th American Cinematheque Award and at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. And among those in attendance to pay tribute to the two-time Oscar nominee were Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige, who praised her for her talent, vision, intelligence, and savvy, both as an actress and as a producer, also teasing a top-secret Marvel Studios project on which the studio is reteaming with the actress, which he has said has nothing to do with her Black Widow character, Natasha Romanoff. Feige noted that Johansson, who became the first Marvel actor to exec produce one of the studio's movies with Black Widow, will also serve on the upcoming project as a producer. Quote, Scarlett has lent her talent and star power to the Marvel Cinematic Universe for over a decade. That she's chosen to play a key part in it for so many years, I am extremely grateful for, the MCU producer said. Working with her has truly been one of the most memorable and rewarding collaborations of my career. And, of course, I don't believe at this event Kevin Feige talked anything about lawsuits. Additional speakers paying tribute to Johansson included filmmaker Jon Favreau, who worked with her on the films Iron Man 2, Chef, and The Jungle Book, her Jojo Rabbit co-star Thomasin McKenzie, Late Night's Andy Richter, actress Abby Cornish, Jamie Lee Curtis, her twin brother Hunter Johansson, and her fellow MCU stars Sam Rockwell, Chris Evans, Samuel L. Jackson, Robert Downey Jr., and Jeremy Renner. Favreau praised his good friend Johansson, noting that she's smart and she's funny, and she was familiar to him from the very beginning, given their shared East Coast roots. He also talked about the concept of repeat business, noting there's a good reason why the same people have ended up working with her over and over again. Everybody who works with Scarlett wants to work with Scarlett, the director observed. She's dedicated. She always lets passion dictate what she does next. Favreau added that while the American Cinematheque Award is a great honor, the highest honor you could really get is longevity in your career. Amen. You know what? I'm going to have a blast of Joe for that. That's right, Mr. Favreau. You are correct. He noted that this is something Johansson has already achieved, having worked as a child actress, and adding that she will continue to endure in the industry because she's been brave, flexible, and smart enough to pivot consistently throughout her career. So there you go. And Scarlett Johansson, what is that secret Marvel project? What could it be? Hey, put your ideas and thoughts down in the comments section. I think it's pretty exciting. It's pretty. This is a good one. So, Abby Cornish spoke with her, and she said that she referenced a conversation she had with Scarlett Johansson about refrigerators and whether her refrigerator was kept empty or full. And Johansson apparently likes her refrigerator well stocked up. And then so Abby Cornish said, just like her fridge, Scarlett is full. There's nothing Scarlett can't do, said Cornish. So I guess there's a guarantee here. Whenever you watch a Scarlett Johansson movie, whatever you want out of it, you're going to get it because Scarlett's fridge is always full. I like that. You know, I'm going to start using that. I'm going to ask people, hey, is your fridge empty or is it full? I kind of like that as a euphemism. I don't know. What do you think? Could be good. Our next story is Johnny versus Amber. Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's relationship breakdown to be spotlighted in a new Discovery documentary. This is from Deadline. Max Goldbart posted this morning at 2:30 in the morning because, God, you got to get up and put that entertainment news out there. So Discovery Plus is going to tell the story of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's relationship breakdown from each of their viewpoints in a 2-part documentary from All 3 Media Indie Optimum entitled Johnny versus Amber. I got to say, I'm interested in that. If they're going to interview both of them and do a 2-part documentary from each of their perspectives, that could be really interesting. The celebrity court case of the decade will first introduce Depp's side, how he felt he was married to a Machiavellian liar who would stop at nothing to protect her image, before Heard's episode explains how the actress married the man of her dreams, only to see him turn into a violent, drug-fueled monster. The doc will feature interviews with lawyers on both sides, along with people close to the pair, and extensive archival and audio footage. Nick Hornby, like about a boy, Nick Hornby. Wow. And Frank Baker are exec producing for UK Crazy Delicious producer Optimum, with Matt Reed execing for Disney. Nick Hornby said, through the tapes, home videos, and text messages shown in court, these films will give viewers a rare and important insight into a marriage that went tragically wrong, and to better understand the hugely important issues of domestic violence. I don't know, people. It's sordid, but who doesn't love a sordid Hollywood tale? I've been a fan of Johnny Depp since 21 Jump Street and Nightmare on Elm Street, where, of course, he had one of the great cinematic deaths of all time. He got sucked into a bed, ground up, and spewed out up onto the ceiling of a bedroom. Not since Kevin Bacon was skewered by an arrow has someone died in bed more spectacularly than Johnny Depp did in the first Nightmare on Elm Street. So, I mean, while it's sordid and perhaps we shouldn't revel in this kind of muckraking, I'm all for it. I want to see this. What does that say about me? I'll let you decide. Put it in the comments. Now we have, this is pretty cool. Kevin Hart, John Lithgow, and Dowd Damon Wayans are going to star in a live version of ABC's Different Strokes. Does that mean that Kevin Hart is playing? Kevin Hart? What you talk about? I mean, really? So Norman Lear, the great Norman Lear, is heading back to the Sony lot. The television veteran and Jimmy Kimmel will revive their Emmy-winning Live in Front of a Studio Audience series on December 7th with live episodic reenactments of the classic sitcom Different Strokes and its spin-off, The Facts of Life. Wasn't George Clooney on The Facts of Life? Didn't he like that? Wasn't that one of his first roles? As Kimmel first revealed on his late-night talk show Thursday evening last night, the former will be led by Kevin Hart in the role, yes indeed, Arnold, once played by Gary Coleman, and John Lithgow as Mr. Drummond. And who's going to play Willis? Is that Damon Wayans? I guess so. What you talking about, Willis? One night only ABC event will feature Ann Dowd and Damon Wayans, who are set to play Mrs. Garrett and Willis, respectively. The collection of A-listers will be joined behind the cameras by more bold-faced names in returning producers Kerry Washington, Will Ferrell, Justin Theroux, Jim Burrows, and Brett Miller. The Facts of Life cast is still coming together. Come on. I mean, I just bring the... Isn't the Fact of Life... Aren't they still alive? Wouldn't that be a lot of fun? I'd watch that. I mean, I think that would be tremendous. Who doesn't love The Facts of Life? I mean, a lot of people are like probably saying, what the hell's The Facts of Life? Or Different Strokes. I know. I understand. We're all old and we're going to be dead soon. But trust me, it was a lot of fun. Those shows were. They were a lot of fun. I watched them. When I was a kid, I watched a lot of sitcoms. Our next story, and this is kind of, I don't know if any of you will care about this, but I cared about it, so I thought I would share it. Mario Bava's cult crime movie Rabid Dogs is getting an English language remake. This is exclusive. It comes from Deadline. Andreas Wiseman wrote this story and posted it this morning at 5 a.m. Now, for those of you who don't know, I am a huge Mario Bava fan. Mario Bava was an Italian cinematographer turned director, and he made movies, wonderful films, such as Mask of the Demon, or as we know it, Black Sunday here in America. He made Black Sabbath. He made Planet of the Vampires. He made Diabolic, or Danger Diabolic, as it's known here in the States, which the Beastie Boys referenced in, I believe, their Sabotage music video. So I'm a huge fan of Mario Bava. What an incredible stylist and director he was. But his crime thriller, Rabid Dogs, was kind of a change of pace for him. And it was a movie I remember getting early on in the DVD days because I'd never seen it before. But anyway, exclusive. Mario Bava's cult crime movie Rabid Dogs is getting an English language remake from in-demand Hollywood scribes Samuel Franco and Evan Kilgore. The film's original producer, Alfredo Leone, is aboard as the exec producer. Franco and Kilgore have acquired the remake rights to the 1974 feature, which follows the bungled robbery of 3 violent criminals and the hostages they take, including a young woman, a middle-aged man, and his child, as they attempt to make a clean getaway from the police. An adaptation of the short story Man and Boy by Michael J. Carroll, Rabid Dogs was a departure for Bava from his colorful horror films. The film had a challenged journey to the screen. Mid-shoot, producer Roberto Loyola declared bankruptcy, resulting in the then incomplete film being shelved. The movie remained unseen for more than 2 decades, but has since been released in multiple home entertainment versions, with various scenes being partially reshot, added, or removed for continuity. One of the versions, titled Kidnapped, was supervised by Bava's son, Lamberto. If you know Lamberto Bava, he's been directing horror films as well, and his colleague Alfredo Leone. A Franco-Canadian remake with Lambert Wilson and Virginie Lidonian. It's French. I'm just screwing that up. I'm sorry. The U.S. scribes have been working out the original film's sexist tones to reimagine the film as a present-day thriller and the first in a trilogy. Because, of course, why wouldn't it be a trilogy? Franco will produce, Franco and Kilgore will write, with plans to shoot in 2022 for a 2023 release. Kilgore will also serve as the exec producer. Genre director Bava, known as the master of Italian horror, has long been considered an important but overlooked figure in Italian cinema, and a cult favorite of Hollywood filmmakers such as Martin Scorsese, John Carpenter, Tim Burton, and Quentin Tarantino. Franco and Kilgore have written and sold multiple buzzed-about film and TV projects, including The Fall of House of FIFA to FX Networks, Camelot to Peacock, and Keeper of the Diary to Searchlight Pictures. They were recently tapped to write and executive produce Star of Persia, an epic take on the biblical story of Queen Esther for Mega Films. The duo are also working on a project about a prominent international whistleblower. Franco is known for producing the indie movie Affluenza, starring Nicola Peltz and Grant Gustin. Under his banner Franco 4 Entertainment, he is set to produce the upcoming feature film 6 Minutes to Freedom and Containment. Rabid Dogs marks the writing team's first venture as producing partners. Said Leone, Samuel and Evan are bright and have creatively mapped out an exciting new way to breathe life into this film, to modernize it as an action-packed thriller, something Mario would have loved. I can't wait to see it come together. Bava was a master at creating these unforgettable moments in the film, and Rabid Dogs, which unfolds in the aftermath of a crime, is not only suspenseful, but filled with fascinating characters. We love thrillers, and the story has got a final plot twist that really shakes you. It's genuinely shocking, and we're excited and honored to be given the keys to remaking this classic. Well, for those of you, if you want to know, as you might think, yeah, it's got a little Reservoir Dogs flavor to it, so that's definitely something that you might want to check out. Now, here's something interesting. We've been talking about the IATSE deal that was signed by the IATSE members. Not everyone is happy, as we reported on this show. The cinematographers, the local Cinematographers Guild, did not sign the deal. It was ratified anyway, but this is interesting. Crystal Hopkins resigns as president of IATSE's Script Supervisors Local 871, citing personal reasons and dissatisfaction with the union's new contract. I would say, look, as someone who's both produced movies and been an independent filmmaker as well, and been on set and worked on set as part of the crew, I don't think that IATSE got enough of what they should have got from this deal. This is me personally. But Crystal, standing on ceremony, did quit. I love this. Resigned. Crystal Hopkins has resigned as president of IATSE Local 871, in part because of her dissatisfaction with IATSE's new film and TV contract. Marissa Shipley, the local's current vice president, will be the local's next president, running unopposed to succeed Hopkins in the local's ongoing election. Hopkins, who has been one of the leaders of the movement to secure better pay for Hollywood's historically female crafts, resigned last week, shortly before IATSE's new film and television contract was ratified. The new contract contains outsized pay raises for the local's members, many of whom have been working for barely above minimum wage. Under the new deal, the local script coordinators, assistant production office coordinators, art department coordinators, and writers' room assistants will see their wages increase to $23.50 an hour, retroactive to August 1st, 2021, and $24.50 in the second year of the pact, and to $26 in the third. My resignation from Local 871 was driven primarily by my personal and family needs, Hopkins told Deadline in a statement. Ancillary to that, I was also not the proper person to lead 871 through a ratification of the new contract. When we began negotiating in May, the priorities were clear, and we were united in them. The solidarity and unity never wavered. However, by the time October rolled around, and we still did not have a deal, the overwhelming and historic response of the membership for strike authorization made clear to me that the priorities we were addressing were no longer adequate for the membership. She also told Deadline, in the continued negotiations, which, make no mistake, took giant steps forward when compared to the history of our contract, the leadership, myself included, kept our eyes on the targets we'd been aiming for in May, but the membership had erected and created new targets that I agree with, and on a very basic level of what a union stands for, should have been given more time and consideration. I could not, in good conscience, lead the membership of 871 through a ratification of this agreement. Well, good for you, sister. And let me just say, for people who don't know what is a script supervisor? Well, if you're directing a project, a script supervisor along with your first AD are some of your most important secret weapons when you're making a movie. Basically, a script supervisor is usually always sitting next to the director, always near the director, and a script supervisor is keeping copious notes from take to take about things. Does an actor pick up, say, a coffee cup with the same hand in every take? Do they make any changes to their lines? Maybe a great ad lib. A script supervisor will make sure that you know that in take 5 of shot 73, an actor said this, marks all that stuff down. If there's a continuity issue of any kind, a script supervisor will either inform the director or make a note of it so the editors know what's going on. Script supervisors are very, very, very important, and it's something that they, as an editor myself, they have saved my ass on more than one occasion. This next story is kind of sad, and if you're a child of the 70s, as I am, you will find it a bit sad. Dave Frishberg dies. You might ask yourself, who is Dave Frishberg? Well, how about this? I'm just a Bill. Yes, I'm only a Bill, and I am sitting here on Capitol Hill. He was the writer of Schoolhouse Rock's tune, I'm Just a Bill. He was 88. Grammy-nominated jazz songwriter, singer, and pianist Dave Frishberg died yesterday, according to a post on his Facebook page. His wife, April Magnuson, said he'd been battling an illness for several years. He was 88. Frishberg had a long and varied career that stretched from the Greenwich Village jazz scene of the 50s to work as a studio musician in LA in the 70s to cutting his own Grammy-nominated albums and doing music for films and TV. But his greatest fame came from his involvement with Schoolhouse Rock, a 1973 to 85 series of Saturday morning shorts on ABC that used music and rhyme to help kids learn basic facts with such memorable songs as Elementary, My Dear, Multiplication Rock, Conjunction Junction, What's Your Function, Hooking Up Words and Phrases and Clauses. And that was from Grammar Rock in 1973 and Frishberg's I'm Just a Bill for America Rock in 1975. I'm Just a Bill was famously spoofed on Saturday Night Live in 2014. He wrote and performed other memorable tunes in the series, including Walking on Wall Street, a song that describes how the stock market works, and $7.50 Once a Week, a song about saving money and balancing the budget. Frishberg's fellow jazz musician and Schoolhouse Rock collaborator, Doro, died in 2018, and Rhino Records issued a 4-CD box set of Schoolhouse Rock tunes in 1996, which I have. And Disney produced a 2-DVD set for the series' 30th anniversary in 2002, featuring 52 of the 64 episodes. Tell me, what is your favorite Schoolhouse Rock tune? Put it in the comments below. And that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gentle beings, is your blast of entertainment news for Friday, the 19th of November. And Kurt Bruss, is it Kurt Bruss or is it Bruce? Kurt Bruss sends in a super chat and says, good morning, Rob. Hope you're doing fine. Do you know anything about the 100 Bullets comic books by Brian Azzarello, which Tom Hardy allegedly wanted to turn into a movie series? Read about that years ago. The 100 Bullets comic series is amazing. Brian Azzarello is a great writer, and I would highly recommend it. It's kind of an anthology series, sort of. It is, and you really should check it out, and it's really, really good. I would imagine it's, I don't have hardcover graphic novels of that now that I think about it, but check it out. It's a lot of great, fascinating stories, and they should make it into a movie, and you could make 100 episodes of it if you wanted to, in and out. And Savage McFilthy sends in a super chat, but doesn't have a comment. Thank you, Savage McFilthy. I really appreciate supporting the channel in that way. And for all of you out there, I just wanted to say thanks for your support on this new endeavor. I want to give a shout out to Roberto Suarez for making this graphic, this coming on the heels of Sonny Dominguez's Hollywood Half and Half graphic. I think one of the fun things for everyone on the show, if you want to make me any kind of a Hollywood Half and Half graphic, I'll put it at the front of the show for a week. And so Sonny Dominguez, he had that honor this week. Roberto Suarez's graphic will be next week. If anyone else wants to send me graphics, but you got to make them good. I have discerning taste. That's why I put half and half in my coffee. Organic, of course. I want to thank my moderators. Lord Toth is here. Don't know who else is here. Joshua Levesque is here. I don't know if Louise X. Sparrow's here. Even Elizabeth Gwendolyn Bell. By the way, shout out to Elizabeth Gwendolyn Bell. She used to just be Elizabeth Bell. Before that, she was Elizabeth Nikolic. And now she's officially Elizabeth Gwendolyn Bell with an E on the end of her name. So congratulations to you, babe. I love the fact that you're truly now Elizabeth Gwendolyn Bell. That's cool. Thank you to my moderators. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for everyone who subscribes and who hits likes and notify, all that YouTube stuff. Thanks for doing that. And once again, I will bring an end to the Hollywood Half and Half. I am your host, Robert Meyer Burnett. Follow me on Instagram at Robert Meyer Burnett, or follow me on Twitter at BurnettRM, and listen to my Discovery rants every Thursday, where I may or may not have a heart attack and die.